As soon as the queen got home, she asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror, hanging there, who in all the land's most fair?" And it replied as before, "My lady queen, you are fair, 'tis true, but Snow White is fairer than you. Snow White, who dwells with the 7 little men, is as fair as you, as fair again." And the queen heard this, she shook with fury. "Snow White shall die," she cried. "Yes, though it cost me my own life." Then she went to a secret chamber and prepared a poisonous apple. It looked beautiful and delicious, but anyone who took a bite would instantly die. The apple was so cleverly made that only one half was poisonous. When it was ready, the queen disguised herself as a peasant and again crossed the 7 mountains to the 7 dwarfs' cottage. This time Snow White leaned her head out of the window and called, "I may not let anyone in. The 7 dwarfs have forbidden me to do so." "Are you afraid of being poisoned?" asked the old woman with a sly smile. "See, I will cut this apple in half. I'll eat one half, and you eat the other." Snow White longed to eat the tempting fruit, and when she saw the peasant woman eating some, she couldn't resist. But hardly had the first bite passed Snow White's lips than she fell down dead. Then the eyes of the cruel queen sparkled with glee, and she cried, "Aha! This time the dwarfs surely will not be able to bring her back to life." When she got home, the queen asked her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all?" And this time the mirror replied, "Queen, you are the fairest of them all." Then her jealous heart was at rest, at least as much at rest as a jealous heart can ever be. When the dwarfs returned home, they found Snow White lying on the ground, and were afraid that this time she was truly dead. They lifted her up and combed her hair and washed her face, but all was in vain, for Snow White did not awaken. So they laid her down upon a long flat stone, and all 7 watched and mourned her for 3 whole days. Then it was time to bury her, but her cheeks were still rosy, and her face looked just as it did while she was alive, so they said, "We will never bury Snow White in the cold ground." Instead, they made a coffin of glass so they could continue to look at her, and thus Snow White lay for many years, and still she looked as though she were only asleep, for always she was as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as ebony. One day a prince passing through the forest stopped at the dwarf's house. Then he saw Snow White's glass coffin on the mountain, and read her name in gold letters. He begged the dwarfs to let him take her away, but they said, "We will not part with her for all the gold in the world." At last, however, they took pity on him, for he seemed so distraught, and they told the prince he could take Snow White home to his palace. But the moment his servants lifted up the coffin, they stumbled and nearly dropped it. The jolt made the piece of poisoned apple fall from between Snow White's lips, and she instantly awoke and asked, "Where am I? Who are you?" The prince just smiled with joy. Then he told her all that had happened, and said, "I promise to love you better than all the world. Come with me to my father's palace, and you shall be my wife." Snow White consented and went home with the prince, and everything was prepared with great pomp and splendor for their wedding. Everyone in the whole land was invited to the feast, even Snow White's old enemy, the wicked queen. As she was dressing herself in fine rich clothes, the queen looked in the glass and said, "Tell me, mirror, mirror, tell me true, of all the ladies in the land, who is fairest? Tell me who." And the glass answered, "Queen, thou art fairest here I hold, but the young queen is fairer 1,000-fold." When the evil woman heard this, she shook with anger, but her envy and curiosity were so great that she could not help setting out to see the bride. And when she arrived and saw that it was none other than Snow White, the queen was frozen with fright. Then the wicked queen was commanded to put on a pair of magic slippers. The minute they were on her feet, the slippers forced her to dance and dance, faster and faster, until she dropped down dead. There was great rejoicing in the hall, and Snow White and the prince lived in the palace and reigned happily over the land for many, many years. The end. Have a happy Halloween and be safe.